And we're back with Shelf Life. Saturday morning.
Shelf Life.
Shelf Life. Well, we're back, boys and girls, with another episode of Saturday Morning Shelf Life. We're about to dive into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first episode.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, ninjas in a half shell, turtle power.
It's not Turtles in a Half Shell?
It's not. I always thought it was, and then we watched this, and it actually says ninjas in a half shell, turtle power.
I guess that
and I was
makes
like,
more sense.
I always thought it was turtles in a half shell, which, I mean, yeah, they're in a half shell. They're in a full shell. Whatever.
I guess it makes sense that it'd be ninjas in a half shell.
Yeah.
Turtle power. I never thought about that. All right. That's fine.
I think earlier I said turtles in a half shell out of just like doing it all the time, saying turtles, and I'm like, I think it's
folks
ninjas.
at home. Are we stupid? Does everyone know out there that it was ninjas in a half shell? Because I think I've always said turtles in a half shell.
Turtle power.
Turtle power. We should start there, actually, Rachel. The song.
Okay, the song. Let's start.
Like X-Men, the Turtles song for the 1987 cartoon will forever be the theme for the Ninja Turtles. I don't care how many new themes they come out with.
Yeah, no.
I don't care how many movies they come out with. For the next 100 years, unless somebody somehow tops it, this is the theme song for the Ninja Turtles.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's super serious, like as dark as you can get, like HBO drama, or as silly as you can get. This is the Turtles theme song. The theme song, allegedly, was written by, well, he says he did, and I don't see anybody that disputes it, so I'm gonna assume
like,
that it
yeah,
was him.
that's right, it was me.
Chuck Lorre, the TV producer extraordinaire behind like Two and a Half Men? Yeah, that's the show. That's the name of the show,
Another half
right?
thing.
2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory, all of that crap, wrote this song. So he was given the task. At the time, he was just trying to make it in the TV industry as like a jingle man. Like he was just he was like a freelance like music guy. Mm-hmm. Well, could you come up with a theme? And he was like, are you fucking serious? You're making a TV show about Ninja Turtles. So he was like, all right, I'll come up with something silly. So he tried to come up with something silly and stupid. And so he wrote the theme song. You can thank, unfortunately, Chuck Lorre for the theme song to the Ninja Turtles. But it's perfect. It is the Turtles.
Yeah.
It's at least this version of the Turtles, but it gives you a very, very good idea of what the Turtles are. In any iteration, I think it gives you a very, very succinct idea of what the Turtles are.
Oh, wait, it's Heroes in a Half Shell.
Heroes in a Half Shell. Now that I feel like I've heard.
Ninjas
that I feel like I've said.
I just made up.
Heroes
I thought
in
it was
a half
ninjas
shell.
for a second, but it's Heroes in a Half Shell.
That I can get by. Yes,
right,
that
fine.
I can
My
get
bad.
by.
All right, well, I had to make sure because then I was like, ninjas in a half shell doesn't sound right, but I thought it was. I'm like, it's not. I know it's not turtles in a half shell, but it's heroes in a half shell.
That I understand.
There you
that
go.
sounds
You're welcome.
Right. Yeah.
I figured it out. I am stupid.
No, you're not stupid. Folks at home tell Rachel she is not stupid.
There's just too much. Too much to remember.
So, there is a lot to remember. So, Rachel, the first episode we have on tap is called what?
Turtle Tracks.
That's right. Like is that an ice cream flavor?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
What is Turtle Tracks as an ice cream flavor?
Chocolate covered pecans with caramel swirl.
Okay, chocolate covered pecans with caramel swirl. That sounds pretty good. All right,
it's delicious.
I'll get by that.
I love that one. Moose Tracks and Turtle Tracks. My favorite ice creams.
I'm not a big fan of chocolate ice cream, though.
Well, it's not chocolate ice cream. It's vanilla ice cream with chocolate stuff in it.
Okay, I can get by that. That's fine.
And caramel. So
right. Yeah.
I do love chocolate ice cream.
So if anyone wants to send Rachel some chocolate ice cream, go for it.
I'm down for that.
Might be melted by the time it gets there, unless you put some
ice.
Rachel, what happened? What is the first episode of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode Turtle Tracks about?
It's the origins story, right? Or it has
Yeah,
some of the origin story in it.
I gotta tell you, I was kind of shocked. I didn't think that a cartoon from the 80s that's made specifically to sell a toy line was going to have an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
But they tell the origin story of the Turtles.
They tell the origin story. They meet April. They start fighting something with Shredder. You know, we're introduced to Shredder and the Foot. So it's all there. It's all there.
It's all there. It debuted on December 14th, 1987, written by David Weiss and Patty Howarth, and directed by Yoshikatsu Kasai. So, Rachel, let's get right into it. We talked about the theme song already. It's a minute long. It's beautiful. It is iconic. Rachel, any lyrics of the theme song that you like in particular?
We're really hip. It's one of my favorites.
We're really
They're green.
Hip. That's one of my favorite ones. I think it's their heroes in a half shell and they're green. Is that right?
Hold on.
Or they're...
Because now I have to look.
And they're green.
Turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting
team.
We're really hip.
We're really hip.
In a half shell. And they're green. Hey, get a grip when the evil Shredder attacks.
Rachel, wait, no. Okay,
look,
here's what I want you to do. Could you just recite
I will.
The lyrics for us in almost a spoken word poet
I will.
Poet-esque.
100%.
Now, folks at home, for those of you that are not familiar with the Turtles, you're going to get an introduction to all four of them in this. The essence of what makes each turtle unique.
Oh wait, do you want me to still do the beginning part? Or am I just doing like the verses? So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we're really hip. They're heroes in a half shell and they're green, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, hey get a grip. When the evil Shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut him no slack, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Splinter taught them to be ninja teens, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's a radical rat. Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines.
He does
Teenage
do
Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's a fact, Jack. Raphael is cool but rude, give me a break. Michelangelo is a party dude, party. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Turtle power, thank you. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, so that's pretty much all that we need to say about that.
I mean, but it does tell you Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael is cool but rude, and Michelangelo is a party dude.
So I'm finding here that James Mandel is the singer of that theme song. I don't know if that's right or not, so let's go with that. So yes, you'll get it stuck in your head too. Yeah, it's gonna absolutely be stuck in your head.
Oh yeah.
So let's dive right in to Turtle Tracks. Each episode, in a very 1980s fashion, starts with the title and who wrote and directed it, which I thought was interesting. You don't always get that with we had it with Arthur, surprisingly enough. But I didn't even remember that, like, oh yeah, each episode starts with, like the title of the show and everything. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the animation, Rachel? Any thoughts about the animation style for the Turtles here, season 1? I
mean, I have a lot of nostalgia, and I really like when it's obviously hand-drawn.
Yeah, the hand-drawnness of it. It forgives a lot.
It feels really good, though.
Yeah.
So there's not, like, it looks like it could be a comic because of how it's drawn too, but it's like on softer paper than like, comic shiny paper type of thing. But it definitely has like all of those streaks of like pencil markings and everything in it, which is kind of great. Yeah, it's a lot flatter. It's a lot flatter, I would say, than most things.
Yeah, like I feel like if you looked at it in today's day and age, you'd be like, it's pastel-y muted, and you'd almost be like, it looks a little cheap. And I think that it probably was, but there's a charm to it.
Absolutely.
It looks like a 1980s, like you could see yourself eating your cereal in the morning with it, I think.
Yes.
It's not bad. It's just a little, it's definitely a old school look.
It's an old style. It's an absolutely old style.
It's definitely an old style.
I mean, just look at April O'Neil. That's all you have to look at. April O'Neil. You know
why
it's
do you
old.
say that?
Because of her style. Her yellow tracksuit that she wears. Her
this
hair.
This tracksuit is insane.
Her poof hair. Right?
Yeah.
Like her mullet kind of hair look to her.
Yeah.
She just looks, and her eyes and stuff. Like, when you look at this art style, you know it's an older thing. Immediately when you look at April O'Neil.
I could see that turning off a lot of people that did not grow up with this, because it just is, it looks of its time.
Mm-hmm.
What is with this tracksuit thing? Because, like, it's got a lot of pockets, and she's, like, ready for anything, because she is this just, like, Kirsten Dunst Civil War reporter, where she's like, I am ready for hell.
I'm about to fight and be a reporter at the same time. Yeah.
But, like, why is it this big yellow, like...
I guess it's more like a jumpsuit.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre look for a reporter.
It's like a full body outfit, you know, like...
Folks at home, let us know.
So April O'Neil, I can't.
Well,
not
now,
have her
yeah, you can't picture in anything else. The Archie comics, to bring it back to that, because the Archie comics piggybacks off of the cartoon a lot. Everyone has a pretty good arc in the comic. The Archie comics is a very sad story to me, because it had a very progressive, a progression for the story, and you could tell it was leading somewhere, and then it got canceled before they could finish the final arc. So it's never been finished. It doesn't have an ending. It ends on a cliffhanger. It sucks in that way. But the April character is April from the cartoon, and becomes gradually changes into its own thing, much like a lot of the Archie comics with it. And in that, she doesn't wear the yellow tracksuit the entire time. She eventually wears a much more modern woman, modern for early 1990s. It's a mix between the comic book, the first comic book, and this, because she's a news reporter and stuff. But in the original comic books, if you look up April O'Neil from the original comic books, Rachel, she looks like a 1980s comic book chick. She's got the leather jacket, she's got the tight jeans, she's got the big poof hair. Yeah, exactly. She looks like a comic book
She almost
character.
looks like Jean Grey.
Yeah.
She's got like the red hair.
If you say April O'Neil to someone on the street, this is what they picture in their head.
Oh, absolutely. Because they wanted her to be memorable. So she has this bright yellow one-piece, like, thing on with white boots. And her bright red fiery hair.
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's brown, but yeah, bright red fiery hair.
I think it's red. I don't think it's supposed to be brown.
Red, like the fires of hell.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Auburn.
April is doing a news report talking about crime in the city. They're talking about a bunch of science equipment that was stolen. I really enjoy the joke here, because she does a little interview with one of the guys or like a scientist or somebody that had all this equipment stolen. And he goes, I had this stolen, like a bunch of like scientific terminology.
Yes.
And then she goes, and what does that all do? And he goes, I have absolutely no idea.
I love that.
Little joke. It's a good joke for like a kid, for like a kids show like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
One detective says it was a samurai sword. They this like this like old English professor looking detective for some reason is talking about how he thinks that it was the work of ninjas. Now he goes into like this like warehouse where all of the stuff was stolen, and there's a security guard wrapped up
still tied up. It's just still tied up.
But I like that instead of untying him and asking him, they leave him tied up, and he goes, it was clearly the work of ninjas. And they're like, well, how do you know that? And he goes, because the rope that they used was made in Japan. So the first instance of this is it's starting very silly by giving you this tone right off the top.
Yes.
That it's not taking itself too seriously.
No.
They shut off the feed, and they want to get into the van, but April thinks that if they just wait, they could see if someone comes to steal something. Like, because this has been, like, the district where stuff has been getting stolen. Her boss?
I don't know what that guy is.
Is he
the
like
guy
a producer?
With the giant nose, the one in the pink shirt?
Vern. I think his name's Vern, right?
I don't remember his name. We'll call him Vern. We'll go with Vern. But I don't know if he's, like, I guess maybe he's the boss, but why would he be going out with them? Unless this is like the smallest news company, and so he has to be like a part of everything too, or is
no? Because he's producing it or editing it or directing it. Like he's doing something with the footage and stuff.
He must be doing
he's
the
not in
live
charge.
feed.
Yeah, he's not in charge of the channel. We meet that guy later.
Yeah.
But I think this is
like her manager type of deal or something.
Yeah, it's somebody that's like taking or in control of it in some way, of like a director or a producer or something like that. He wants to get out of there because he's like, I'm not gonna
sit in the crime infested area
and like wait for like crime to show up. We get an idea of somebody is watching them. There is an evil man going from. So I'm gonna ask you this now, Rachel. How in the hell? Like, how does Shredder have all these cameras? Is he have drones? Like, what is this?
Maybe
it's got to be drones, right?
I'm thinking drones. Yes, I'm thinking definitely drones. I'm thinking he's also tapping into the feeds of any cameras that are around the city.
I thought you were going to be like tapping
buildings.
into the morphing grid.
Yeah, and we'll just go with that. But like, I think that's what he's doing. But I definitely think drones is probably a big part of it.
Before drones were there, like he has Dimension X technology.
Well, I don't think we get to see this even in the second episode, but those little like monster-looking ones that like have the chompy mouth, and I don't even know what you would call that.
Well, not the Mousers. We don't see them yet.
But even
You're
something
not talking about the
like
Mousers.
that. Yeah, I was talking about the Mousers.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the ones that look like trash cans with the unicycle.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. If those had cameras on them,
They might all have cameras. I was thinking the Mousers could be like quiet and like go through areas and be able to watch for them. Kind of like a drone, but like an on-ground camera.
I don't think they've made the Mousers yet.
I don't think so either. But that's kind of what my imagination was going to.
The other members of April's crew are all cowards because a bunch of thugs show up. And April goes, "We're the news media. Who would want to hurt us?" Which is a funny line. Because I don't know if it was back then. Yeah, but I don't know if it was like that back then. But like now.
Well, it must have been because that's the joke.
Fake news.
But that's the joke. So it has to be.
Yeah, you're right. So it had to have been. Yeah. And April's the only one to stand her ground.
My problem is they ran away. Get in the van and drive away. It doesn't take that long. Everybody get into the van, close the doors. They might be beaten on the van for a second, but you just drive away.
But Rachel, these are cowards.
Yeah,
so they don't. A character who eventually becomes Rocksteady says, "We got a message from you from the boss man." And all I could think of, Rachel, was in the movie where the foot soldier comes up and goes, "We have a message for you." And then he slaps her and goes, "Shut it." And I was like, oh my god, is Rocksteady going to slap April?
Oh my
was
god.
not prepared for this. And instead, no, he says he wants you to stick to fashion shows. She throws a camera at them, which I feel like shows incredible strength, because those cameras could not be that light. It's 1987.
No. Yeah.
And she doesn't know where to hide.
A brick. You're throwing a
brick
it
would be like
head.
Throwing a brick at someone.
Good. That's a good idea.
Yeah. She doesn't know where to go, so she slides into the sewers.
She slides into the sewers.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever end up in a situation where you're being pursued by a group of thugs who, as April puts it, she must be on the right track because they're trying to kill her, which is also a good line, that going into the sewers, I don't know if that's the best idea. I feel like that might be...
I think you're putting yourself right up against like a wall at that point.
Yeah. I feel like going down into the sewers, you're going to catch something. And it's probably going to be worse than...
Absolutely.
They go to beat her. And before they're able to beat her, a bow stab... What? They do. They go to beat her. Rachel looked at me like, oh, all right. A bow staff stops them. And then a sigh. And then they very slowly... take out the thugs in the shadows. This fight style, and I don't know if it's because they were trying to keep them in the shadows.
I think
but
so.
They're tossing them very slowly. Not to the point of that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fight with the putties, not like that slow, but pretty slow for like an animation style.
These are ninjas. They should be swift.
Correct.
Right? Quick and swift.
Taylor Swift.
No.
They pile them all up. They pile them all up, and they come out of the shadows, and we see that they are green turtles. Rachel, can you please describe what they look like in this 1987 cartoon?
Like turtles? They look like humanoid turtles. They have pecs. They have abs. They are bald,
are their shells.
And they have very wide, like, beak-shaped mouths like a turtle would. Like if you're thinking like a snapping turtle.
Yes. Problem that I have with the modern Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies is that they don't have those beaks, because they are supposed they may try to make them look too turtle-ish.
They gave them human teeth, didn't they?
No, are you thinking? I don't remember. Oh, maybe they did. Yeah.
There was something about like their mouths that were creepy. I think they have human teeth in this too, but it's like at the same time there was something uncanny about the fact that they were very humanoid.
Yeah. The 1990 movie looks very similar to the style that they gave them here too. This like ovalish head, UFO almost style head. The shells are there. You say they look fingers? Like they have 3 fingers. Thank you. Rachel's demonstrating how they have 3 fingers.
Spock hands.
They have Spock hands. Yeah. You say that they look like turtles. And
they're
April
humanoid
even goes,
turtles.
You're turtles. Would you say these are turtles? You'd be like, oh my god, aliens, or oh my god, monsters.
mean, yes.
You would not say
I think my first
turtles.
thought would be mutant, alien, monster, something along that line, not going, oh my god, you're just little turtles. Like, no, these are monstrosities walking on
freaks.
2 legs.
These are freaks of nature. We should destroy them all.
Yeah, that would have been probably my first thought.
Especially the rat.
I would have God, a giant rat would probably scare me.
I don't know who you are, but thanks. You're not human.
Bingo. No, we're dealing with a real mind here.
You're turtles.
Yep, so we are.
I can't handle this.
April faints. I was surprised to see her faint, because, like, I know the origin story based on the movie. So to see her faint, I was like, oh my god. The movie actually takes a lot of this first episode and, like, does it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this is the origin story. And there's a lot of stuff changed from the origins, like we've mentioned, from the comics, but in my head, like in my head canon of the Ninja Turtles, so much of it comes from the movie and, like, my understanding of what the turtles are, that, like, seeing it in this cartoon, I was like, wow, it really is the origin story. Like, it is the turtles.
Right. I'm not surprised she fainted, though, because she was, like, all of that adrenaline pumping. She was being chased by thugs, almost murdered, and then monstrosity turtles come out of the shadows.
Freaks of nature. Absolute freaks.
I'm going to pass out, too, I think.
No, I'm not just passing out. I'm shitting my pants, and I'm trying to run out of the sewer. First of all, I'm in this dirty 1980s New York sewer. All right? I might not even shit my pants. I might just pull my pants down because I know I'm going to shit.
Gross.
And it's in the sewer, so what's the difference? And then I'm just trying to get out of there.
Anyways.
April faints. And we see the Shredder for some reason. So he has a feed of this. And Shredder's reaction to this is very odd, because he's like, they're turtles. I can tell that they're turtles. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Shredder?
Turtles. Well, we find out later he's pissed, that they were turtles and they took down his thugs. But
yeah, I get that. But
I guess because he thinks he's just annoyed that turtles can do this. Ridiculous.
April wakes up in the sewers in some area and is greeted by Splinter, who brings her tea, and so she faints again. Which you would if you saw a giant humanoid rat.
Yes.
Bringing you tea, speaking with a Japanese accent.
Yes. Yes, you would. I think I was already still sleeping. I'm just gonna go back to sleep.
Yes. This is a dream.
This is a dream.
This is a problem. I'm gonna go to sleep. Donnie wakes her up. I don't know what I meant here, but I wrote, it auto-corrected on me. It says Raph Laments. It's supposed to be Raph Laments. I wrote Raph Elements. And I was like, Raph Elements. So Donnie tries to wake her up, And she's like, come on. He's like, come on, Lee, wake up. And Raph goes, you know what? Instead of doing Raphael's voice for the 1987 cartoon, because it's... I don't really have like that good like, oh yeah, seems to me, I'm a wise guy.
Yeah, he's kind of got the wise guy voice when it's more like a deep, like I imagine the movie voice.
You want the movie voice? Okay,
yeah.
Leo.
Yeah.
I'm Ray Romano. I'm Big Raphael the Ninja Turtle.
Oh, I don't like that. That's too nosely. But yeah, I understand what you mean. I didn't know that was who played Raphael.
He didn't. No, I'm just saying he sounds like a Ray Romano.
Oh, thank God, because I was like, I don't like Ray Romano's voice.
No. I'm just saying he does like
Yeah, he does
like
have.
I'm Rosie O'Donnell, the turtle. That's his voice. But in this, he's more like a wise guy. Like, come on, lady, wake up.
Yes, he's more like the wise guy New York gang. Yeah,
like from Goodfellas. Like he has like a Joe Pesci voice.
Yes.
And Donatello has kind of a
it's a little bit
voice.
nerdy voice. Well, Michelangelo, he sounds like he's a surfer dude.
Yeah,
Leo
Michelangelo
is just kind
is
of
surfer dude, and Leonardo is just the leader.
Oh yeah, he's got that leader voice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
He's got a little bit of the 1980s surfer style, but otherwise it's that. Come on, guys, we gotta do what's right here.
Right. So we have mobster, nerd, surfer,
party dude, surfer,
and soft-spoken leader.
That's right. Rachel, which Ninja Turtle are you?
Probably Donatello. All right. I liked Michelangelo, but then I also started liking Donatello more as I grew up.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Donatello.
All right, that's fair. That was always a thing, right? Like, which Ninja Turtle are you? These are the 4 personality types that anyone can have. These are the 4, like there's in 100 years or 200 years time, the way that like Greek philosophy is like, okay, like there's these 4 quadrants or like 4 brains or whatever you could be. It's going to be like that's,
orange, blue, and red.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be with the turtles, and it's going to be like, yes, the Leonardo. I mean,
they are named after Renaissance men, so
they are. I changed from time to time. Like I've appreciated all the turtles at different points in my life because I was Michelangelo when I was a little kid. I was Leonardo as like a young adult teenager, and then like as an adult, I'm more like Raphael. Yeah. I took completely.
No, I feel it. I'm like Raph and Don now. I feel like.
And you can't have more than one in each group. You have your group of 4 friends. And if you have two of the same, there's going to be conflict. You have to have one of each.
That's right.
Folks at home, let us know what Ninja Turtle you are. Boys and girls at home, let us know what Ninja Turtle you think you are. Splinter brings April some sushi, and the turtles are like,
sewer sushi. I'm sorry.
Okay, I will give it to you that she rejects it because it's sewer sushi. But it's more that it's because it's 1987 and it's sushi, so she's
okay.
"You gross fish."
I thought it was just sewer sushi from a rat, and I'm like, of course I would say no. It's sewer sushi.
It is sewer sushi.
Otherwise,
to your point,
pretty good.
I collect the fish that fall down here that they throw out at the end of the day, and I make sushi out of it.
Oh, it's so upsetting.
The turtles are going, pizza time, party on, dudes.
Of course.
And they're all eating pizza. We've already talked about it. How the hell do they get this pizza? Actually, I guess in the movie we see it.
I think this one, they are cooking their own pizzas.
Oh, interesting.
I think
so you think they've got an oven down there?
Yes. I think they have an oven and they're cooking their own pizzas down here. Otherwise, yes, the movie kind of explains it. They order pizza, grab the pizza, and throw the money at the douche. Just kind of ninja their way out of that one whenever they need to order pizza.
Leo, we learn, is the mature one. He wants to know, okay, lady, let us know why you were being chased down here. And they're all talking about how we don't get a lot of humans down in the sewers. She realizes the absurdity of the situation because she starts going like, well, I was following a story and these thugs started chasing. And she's like, wait a minute. I'm in the sewers telling this story to 4 humanoid turtles and their pet rat.
It's actually the opposite, but yeah.
Right, yeah, it is actually the opposite. And Splinter's like, you know what? Maybe it helps if I tell you the story of how we became what we are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as is tradition with all of the Ninja Turtle stories, like different types of stories, whenever you tell a Ninja Turtle story, you have to always tell this origin story. Right. So he goes right into it. Another question. Well, okay. These turtles are pretty physically fit, right? They're ninjas.
Yes.
So are they eating the pizzas because of all of the calories that they're burning through the...
They probably have to constantly eat to replenish the amount of calories they are losing from working out and being ninjas.
Because otherwise they should look like the turtles that Eastman and Laird drew, where they're like these big lumps, these big
with
fat,
a lot of
slow
wrinkles
lumps.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, folks, if you eat a lot of pizza, you will end up with a lot of wrinkles.
I mean, if you dive into turtles and what they actually eat and why they're like so slow and like they like slow in digestion and everything, they can't eat pizza. Their digestion wouldn't allow for that.
They'd shit all over themselves.
It's a turtle eating pizza because it needs to replenish the calories because of its mutant side. Okay? There you go.
I don't understand. What's the problem? What's the problem? I don't understand. So we learned that Hamato Yoshi was a sensei in Japan. He was part of a ancient ninja clan known as the Foot.
That's right.
No, the Schwartz. The Hand? No, the Foot. He was a teacher.
Yes.
For the Foot Clan. He was quiet and he liked art. They throw that in there just so that you know he liked art. He's an art
that's
aficionado.
Fine.
Well, because it comes back and that's why they're named the way they are.
Of course it does.
He had one student who wanted to usurp him, Oroku Saki. And I do love that every time that Splinter says Oroku Saki, he goes Oroku Saki. Like he always rolls the R on Oroku Saki.
That's probably the proper way to say it.
Correct way to say it.
I was gonna say it's probably just the proper way to say it, but it is kind of he emphasizes that name like every time he says it. It's very like this is the name.
Yeah. A sensei visited the dojo and Oroku framed Yoshi first to not bow down before the sensei, which would be disrespectful. He takes a
like a knife.
What's the sword? It's a knife. It's probably not
kunai?
A full sword. Yeah, it's probably some sword or knife. And he makes it look like he pins his shirt to it so he can't bend down to bow. So it looks disrespectful. And then they make it look like he was going to kill him. And they actually do go there because I was like, oh, they're going to do like a tamed down version where Saki just makes it look like he wouldn't bow to him. He's being disrespectful. And it's like, no, they go there. They actually do a whole like he was going to kill you, master.
Yes.
Which is from the comics are a little different, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So they basically frame him for murder, and then they kick him out. They throw him out.
Can I just mention one thing? Oh, go ahead. You were about to say the exact thing I wanted to.
I'll let you do it. I'll let you say it.
The designs for these characters are awful.
Well, they're just a little problematic.
They're so racist. It's so extreme. Like
their accents are a little over the top.
The features.
It's a little much. It's a little much.
Yeah.
It was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
Nobody cared.
But you look at it and you go, ooh.
Yeah, it's a little much.
So, you plot to kill our honorable sensei.
Disgraceful. For this misdeed, you should be banished from the Foot Clan altogether.
What say you, all-wise sensei?
Oh, okay. I say, throw the bomb out.
There's a difference here.
Okay.
Between the comics, as I understand them, because I think the movie takes the origin story from the comic books more than it does the cartoon.
Okay.
And in the movie, and I think in the comic books, Oroku Saki was jealous of the fact that Hamato Yoshi was the leader of the clan and he wanted to be the leader. Hamato Yoshi has a pet rat.
Yes.
And Saki's also jealous of the fact that Yoshi is dating this woman that Saki loves. So Saki kills
Yes.
the woman, and Hamato Yoshi takes over the clan, and the rat bites Saki, scratches his face. The rat has to like leave the dojo because like now his master is dead. And then he flees onto a barge in New York, and that's how he ends up there. I don't mind that because I like the idea of the rat scarring
Yes, I love that.
Saki, and that's why he has to wear the Shredder mask. But I like the idea that Hamato Yoshi was a man and became a rat, more than a rat that becomes human. I like that more so. I have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem headcanoning it where maybe Hamato Yoshi already had a pet rat and the rat still gives him the scar, but Hamato Yoshi is the human that becomes Splinter versus a rat that becomes human-like. I think that works better.
Okay.
I think that is something that the cartoon did that I think works better.
I like the rat becoming humanoid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I prefer the rat coming humanoid because I feel like it gives him kind of a revenge story almost too with the Shredder.
Right, because
And
he's out for vengeance for his master.
And he learned all of everything he knows from his master just from being there and watching him. Like, I know it's very silly in the movie.
Which is very, very silly.
It's very silly
the movie
in
where they do that is very, very silly.
But I can imagine just him, like, knowing that, and when he becomes mutant, you know, when he becomes a humanoid rat, he knows all of that knowledge. It sounds very weird, but at the same time, I kind of like it that way. And so he's raising the turtles as his master raised him. That's what I like. You like this one, that's fine.
I like the other one, that's fine. Folks at home, it's all fine. Yeah. Let us know which way you prefer. How do you prefer your Splinter origin story, folks? So, Hamato Yoshi thrown out of the dojo. He's forced to flee. He goes to New York, but he's poor. He's a poor immigrant in New York City, and he's forced into the sewers. So he actually makes himself a life in the sewers. He builds kind of a den for himself, like a home in the sewers. I feel like he could have gotten a job as a karate instructor somewhere. I think he could have been okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Don't you?
I would think so. There might be people who look down on them, though, because he's Japanese.
But he's an authentic Japanese
Well, I'm just thinking racist people in general.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But no, I agree. I feel like he probably could have opened a school. He probably could have opened something where he could have been like teaching.
But I do like the idea that like he's this illegal immigrant tossed out of his home. He's in New York. He doesn't know what to do, so he just goes down to the sewers and he makes a life for himself. His only friends are the rats. And one day, and this again changes the origin a little bit, because when they fall in, they would have been, you know, made into, or like the ooze already got to them or something or whatever. But one day turtles fall down the drain, and he's like, now I have some new friends. So he adopts the turtles and takes care of the turtles. And he says that under Sake's leadership, the Foot became an army of crime. He turned them into a cartel, essentially.
Like a syndicate.
Yeah. Yoshi makes a life of happiness, but one day he walks in and the turtles are covered in ooze. I don't remember which. I think it was Raph. I think he goes, you get the feeling that this is leading somewhere. They changed the origin of the ooze a little bit in this cartoon too. I think I prefer the comic movie origin of the ooze, but we'll get into that in the second episode, I think. The turtles become human. Splinter becomes a rat. And
I have no comment on that one. I just thought it's just what it is.
And April is like, so wait a minute, Hamato Yoshi is you. And they're like, yeah, you got a mind like a steel trap there, lady. Splinter says they named him Splinter for obvious reasons, and they show him breaking the boards with his mouth because he's a rat now, so he has big rat teeth, and he can do it that way. And he says that he named them all after his favorite painters because he was into art. They would be considered freaks on the surface. So I decided to keep them here and learn to become ninja. Mm-hmm. And then we get all their names. He does the lineup straight out of the movie. And I think the comic book, too.
I knew the outside world would consider them freaks, so I trained them in the art of ninjutsu. Donatello, whose simple wooden bull can disarm any adversary. Raphael, no sword on earth can withstand his side. Leonardo, his swordsmanship is unmatched. Michelangelo, master of the whirling nunchakus.
And master of the whirling pizzas.
And that is how they became the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It was weird for me to see it because I just didn't remember that they did this in the cartoon, or I never saw this, and I was like, wow, they really do. Like, here's the lineup. Here's Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael. Michelangelo is master of the whirling nunchakus. And he says, and master of the whirling pizzas, as he's like spinning it on his finger.
He's the one who cooks the pizza. He makes the dough. He's
you think
chef.
that you think that Michelangelo is the
Yes.
Michelangelo would be the chef?
That's
I think, of all
right.
four
Michelangelo is the chef. Telling you.
I like this idea that they gather ingredients and Mikey's like, I'm making pizza today, brah.
And that's why they're weird, and that's why they just put whatever on it, because he just grabs whatever ingredients he finds and puts it on a pizza, because that's all he can make is pizza.
You're in the sewers. Beggars can't be choosers.
So does he have to change the beginning of it every time they age?
Yeah, when they get older, they're going to just be they're either going to be adult Mutant Ninja Turtles, or they're just going to be called the Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're just going to be called the MNTs.
Because were they already teenagers when they were changed, or were they like baby Mutant Ninja Turtles, then toddler Mutant Ninja Turtles, then
yeah, I think they were toddler Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then they were
and then
pre-K Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then pre-teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
We were told that this happened, that it's been 15 years. I don't know if it's in. So they were babies. They were baby turtles.
They're babies.
Babies. I can't wait to do that one.
Oh my god.
Leo says one day they're going to figure out who did this, who changed us, and we're going to force them to change our master Splinter back. So their goal in this is to actually change Splinter back into a human.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is interesting.
I thought that was... Yeah, I liked that motivation. I actually do, because it's a little different. It's like almost a Fantastic Four thing motivation. Like, we're going to try to turn him back human.
It's an interesting motivation, but at the same time, I feel like Splinter's like, no, I'm good. I can be a rat creature. This is fine. Like, what's the problem? You were already friends of the rats in the sewer.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because
I
was
guess if he becomes
maybe...
human again, he could open his dojo, but still.
Yeah, he could open his dojo. He could reclaim the foot. Something.
Oh yeah, he could reclaim. That's probably the bigger part. Well, I guess they don't even know about. Well, they do know about it. Yeah, so he knows that the foot has become bad, and he wants to probably change that, and he can't do that as a rat. Fine, fair.
April.
Except I would love to just see a rat take down the foot, and become the master of the foot. So
if they ever do like an ending of the Turtles, that's what it should be. That he reclaims the foot, and Splinter is now the master again of the foot. I would like that if they did if that's how any of a comic.
I think I'd cry, and it'd be wonderful.
So April kind of smartly accuses them of the robberies. She's like, well, you know what I think? I think you guys did those robberies because it was done by ninjas, and you're the ninjas that I can see. And she tries to leave and says that even if they didn't, this is still news. And they're like, no, you're not going anywhere. They cut her off from trying to run out of their sewer den. If you were to tell the surface world, the humans, about us, they're going to try to study us. And we're not going back to a bowl. They flat out say, we were in a bowl, we're not going back to a bowl.
Right. Well, they'd cut him open. It's an E.T. situation.
It is an E.T. situation. All right, first we've got on the docket, we got this weirdo alien thing. He is dead. He's about 2 feet tall, an elongated neck. And then next to him, definitely, potato-shaped. And then after we cut up this potato-shaped alien, we have 4 humanoid turtles to cut open. Are they related to the potato?
No.
We're getting told they're not related to the potato. Okay, so 4 humanoid turtles, and then a giant rat man.
There's also a bear that can talk.
Who is the bear that could talk that we've covered?
Paddington.
Oh, yes, the bear. Okay.
Except nobody cared about Paddington, so I'm surprised.
Can someone please call my wife and tell her I'm not going to be home because I got to cut into this bear, this potato, and at least one of these turtles I got to cut into.
What else have we covered?
Shrek, the talking donkey.
Oh, Shrek. Oof.
Yeah, lots of stuff in that one. Meanwhile, at the Flatiron Building.
I'm sorry, that was a Batman thing. I gotta turn that off.
Yeah, TMNT did it before the Spider-Man movies, Rachel. The Flatiron Building being like the news reporter building here.
That's true, they did.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was the same building until you just said that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Maybe
it's just a bunch of news outlets. They all like have a different floor.
Yeah, the Daily Bugle's on one floor.
Yeah, exactly.
J. Jonah Jameson rented out Channel 6. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's the news district.
Exactly.
The crew is wondering where April is because another high-tech warehouse has been stolen. And Vern is like, I couldn't understand, like, does Vern not like April? Is there, like, some, like, jealousy there or something? Because
100%.
He's like, she's not even your best reporter. Who cares? She's not a total loss. And the guy's like, well, it's still...
Thing. Yeah, but then he calls her the third best. What the
frick?
He's
like second best reporter. He goes, third best reporter. Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
I think maybe what we're supposed to understand from this is that April's like a junior reporter who's trying to make a name for herself.
But they kind of acted like she was like the best, and then we're like, well, I guess we can't really call her the best yet because she's a junior, and it's like, screw you guys.
Odd.
Or they're just dudes. It's just men being men.
It's also
and she's
possibly
a woman.
just men being men.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
I would not put it past that. Because I was like, what is with the slander here on April?
Yes.
They debate about what to do, and Leo says, let's find the thieves and get April a story by like finding the thieves and being able to get her like a story that she wants to tell. In exchange, we're going to ask April to help figure out the origins of the ooze. Because like she's a reporter, so she knows how to do reporter things, and she's a human, so she can do a lot of human things.
Where the human can go. Yeah, she can go where humans can go.
So she says, yeah, she'll help us, and they're like, wait, you're really gonna help us? But you're a human. So I feel like Splinter, and Rachel, I know you haven't watched Mutant Mayhem, the newest movie. In that movie, Splinter is like paranoid that the surface world is gonna want to kill the turtles and experiment on them and stuff. So
well, they already do think that, yeah.
So he's constantly, like, telling them that, like, humans are evil and stuff.
That doesn't feel like something a sensei would say. To me, a sensei would be, like, yes, there's a lot of evil in the world, but you'd be, like, looking for the good in everything, too. So that's odd that they would actually kind of shove down the throat of the Ninja Turtles that humans are bad.
In the new one, in the Mutant Mayhem one, Splinter isn't really a sensei. He teaches them...
I can't watch this movie. I refuse. I can't do it. The hell is he? What is he? A boxer? I don't get it.
I can't remember how he becomes a rat or anything, but he teaches them how to defend themselves. So he learns karate, and then he teaches them karate. So he becomes a sensei, but he wasn't originally. And he teaches them karate to defend themselves because he's afraid of the surface world. Yeah.
No.
It's not bad. It's not a bad movie.
Nope. Sounds horrible to me. They completely changed the origin story then, and it just sounds bad. That's not the Ninja Turtles.
Regardless.
Upset. Nope, I'm upset.
Rachel's getting upset! Shredder is with the thugs, and he says, "Did they look like reptiles?" And I was like, well, how do you know that they were turtles? Again, Shredder, like, he's like, no, they are turtles. Hamato Yoshi's turtles. At this point, I should mention the fact.
Wait, why does he say Hamato Yoshi's turtles?
Well, because in the second one, we learned that he dropped the ooze down the sewer thinking he was going to kill Hamato Yoshi.
Oh, sure. I
don't know how he knows that
turtles know he was there?
Were there.
Or the turtles.
Yeah, that part doesn't make any sense.
I thought he recognized them because of the fighting style. And it was like, aha.
He does. No, he eventually does. He's putting two and two together. So, like, he's there's turtles, and then they fight like the foot
like
later
Hamato
on.
Yoshi. Right.
Yeah, so then he puts it all together that they're Hamato Yoshi's turtles.
Okay, thank you.
I should mention that James Avery is the voice of the Shredder. And once you know that it's James Avery, Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you see it. You can see him saying it. It's a wonderful Shredder voice, because it is something that I can imitate slightly, but it is not completely replaceable. Like, James Avery as the Shredder is the Shredder. That is the Shredder. That is how the Shredder should talk. It doesn't matter 100 years again from now, this is how the Shredder has to talk because of how James Avery did it. They go to look for some evidence. And I was like, how short are the turtles? Because the turtles are all walking down the sewer in front of April, and April, like, towers over them.
Sometimes April looks really tall, like model-esque tall to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know how short these guys are, but they are short.
Yeah,
I didn't know
short.
they were like Wolverine short. Like, that's kind of what I'm picturing.
And they're not in the movie. They're about as tall as she is in the live action, but in this,
but that's because they're men
short.
in suits. So
right. They're
but
men in suits. They roam around the sewers looking for fights. That popped Rachel. Everyone, give Rachel a minute.
Oh god. No, they go up to her, like, her shoulder. So are they like 4 foot something?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I guess it's because they're turtles. They should be short.
Yeah, they're just a little squatter. It's fine. It just wasn't unexpected. But they're also teenagers.
It was unexpected.
Maybe
yeah,
that's
and they're also
why
teenagers.
Too.
They haven't hit a growth
so
spurt.
They're shorter. Like,
yeah.
Could you
they
imagine
talk about
them as adults then? I don't know. Do they get, like, really, like, thick and, like, tall? I don't know. I'm a little scared now.
Rachel's horrified herself now. No, there's a good does it happen in the comics? At some point there is, like, a version where they're, like, college age. They're, like, in their 20s as turtles, and I can't remember where I've seen that from. If it's comics or cartoon. Folks at home are probably shouting at me about it, but I've seen it where, like, they all have different jobs and stuff. Actually, TMNT, the 2007 movie, the CGI cartoon movie, aren't they, like, in their 20s in that?
I think they are older in that one. I think they might be.
So they talk about how they're not going to find any evidence, and eventually they do. They find a matchbook that says Ninja Pizza on it, and it's for, like, a restaurant that serves pizza. I can't remember which one of them says it. I think one of them says, like, do you know what this means? And Donatello's like, this is a crucial piece of evidence? And it's probably Michelangelo who's like, no, it means we can get some pizza. And Donnie says she can't go into the Ninja Pizza Parlor alone, meaning, like, because April's like, no, I'll just go in. And Donnie is like, well, you can't go in alone, because what if it's the Foot Clan or something?
Right.
Like, we can't let you go alone. And Donnie breaks the fourth wall, and he says he loves saying lines like that because he says you can't go into the Ninja Pizza Parlor alone. They're very tongue-in-cheek about the fact that they're making the Ninja Turtle show.
Absolutely.
She asks how they know all about humans, and they say, well, we watch a lot of TV. Which makes sense. Like, you're in the sewers.
That's
like,
fair.
what else are you going to do?
Right.
Rachel, this next scene was extremely silly. So,
yes,
I think it's supposed to be a commentary on New York crime and, like, the state of crime in the city, because they go up to the surface and an old lady sees them coming out of the sewer, and it turns out that she has an assault rifle with her.
That's just America. She's protecting herself.
That's true. That's right.
Yeah.
Her God-given right as an American citizen. That's true.
Obviously. But yeah, I think it is just commentary that it's, like, a crime-infested city.
Yes.
So she's protecting herself from monsters and the like.
Yes. They back off, and April gets them their vintage trench coats to hide in, because she's like, well, we have to do something because you have to blend in. And she gets them the kind of iconic Ninja Turtle trench coats.
They all look like detectives. Ninja detectives now.
I think one of them even does a here's looking at you, kid.
Yep, the Humphrey Bogart. It's Raph. Raph does it.
Would have been a slightly more time. I think they do that in the movie. Doesn't one of them do the Casablanca speech in the movie?
They do, yeah. They do a lot of voices, though, in the movies, too. And it's supposed to just be because all they did was watch TV.
All they did was watch TV.
Movies and stuff. So
it's
they're
us
just like
if we were
us.
turtles.
Yes. They're just like us. And all we do is make references to everything they know.
Did you notice? I watched this on Paramount Plus. I think you did the same. Yes, I know you did because we watched it together. So
acted like we did it. We watched this first episode together.
Did you notice? There is apparently a DVD you can get of this, which we'll talk about the end of when we do the verdict if we'll end up having to get that or not. Did you notice that the transfer has lines in it, like somebody's VHS copy? Around this time, there were like in this scene, noticed VHS lines.
Yes, there's like the VHS lines, and it's a little warbly. Yes, yeah. I You'd think, because of the way it looks. It immediately has those lines. It's so weird. And I don't know if it's just the way it has to transfer because of how old it is and like what they did with it. Like, I don't know. I'm so confused by that.
I mean, it's possible because it's a 1980s cartoon, and no one could have predicted that we would have VHSs and DVDs and stuff for, everything. That they would have to preserve the frickin' Ninja Turtles cartoon. But yeah, there's VHS lines. Like somebody recorded it off of their TV. It's kind of funny.
Well, I guess it's because it's film. It's old film.
It's old film. Yeah, but I thought those lines would be from VHS stuff. I don't know.
Still film. Keeps getting... It's still tape. Right?
Yeah, it's still tape. Yeah.
So anything that's like that tape, I'm assuming kind of can cause those lines to occur.
She keeps getting their names wrong because they are all asking her about the strange things that they're seeing humans do.
Right.
So somebody's got the boombox next to their head because it's the 80s, and they ask her, why would somebody want to be deaf? And she says, like, I don't know, Raphael. And he's like, I'm Leonardo.
Just keeps
someone asks why they would want to put silly stuff on their face. So it just keeps happening.
Like, she goes, like, nice going, Raphael, and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not them. You'd think she would be able to put the color of the mask to the turtle. Yeah. And she's a reporter. She really thinks she would get the names right, like, immediately. But I get the joke.
It's kind of a way to emphasize who's who.
Oh, yeah. I guess that would be what it is,
This is like
really.
The third time probably that we've been told Michelangelo is the orange one. Raphael is the red one. So, like, they're trying to get it ingrained into their audience's head. Like, this is this, like, make sure you know the difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's a bunch of ninja stuff on the street. There's like a ninja pizza parlor. There's like a ninja tailor, a ninja dentist, like all of this stuff. It's the ninja district. So I was trying to figure out, is the Shredder laundering money through all of these...
I like that idea. I like that he's laundering money. That makes a lot of sense. He just keeps opening more places. Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually doing very well with our legitimate businesses. We probably could stop all of this illegal activity and just we could make a franchise out of Ninja Pizza. I could live very well here as a Ninja Pizza.
Absolutely.
That Ninja Pizza idea is actually a pretty good idea. I would eat at a Ninja Pizza. Like the way that they, like the gimmick. So they go into the Ninja Pizza parlor and there's like guys with like ninja masks on their face, which just look like COVID masks. And they are spinning the pizzas in the air and going, hey-ya, and stuff. And they're like, doing all of like the gimmick. And I was like, somebody should open a Ninja Pizza.
It would be kind of fun. I could see it.
Ninja Pizza. They even have a tagline for it. Home of the nice slice. Which is really good. Because it's like a slice of pizza and a slice like with your katana or whatever.
I like it. It's fun.
April thinks that the whole place is a little suspicious, and they think, relax, April, it's just a gag. It's like, that's the gimmick of the place.
Theme.
And they're like, I mean, who'd ever hear of a bunch of ninjas in a pizzeria? And she goes, you're a bunch of ninjas. And you're in a pizzeria.
Yeah.
And they're like,
and whoever thought of a bunch of turtles talking, I think is one of the other lines she says too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think more to herself than them too. Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Shredder presses some buttons as the turtles are served pizzas. Meanwhile,
see, now the cameras in here make sense. This is his establishment.
Because this is one of his legitimate... I'm a legitimate businessman. I own several places off on the west side, including Ninja Dentist and Ninja Pizza. I'm opening up a ninja bowling alley and a ninja nightclub. Ninja nightclub would actually be pretty good, too.
That's pretty good.
I guess we've technically saw that in Secret of the Ooze, was the ninja nightclub.
Exactly.
April goes into a building for Manhattan Security Services, is what it's called. And it turns out that it's just the Foot Clan. So what they're doing, in a kind of an ingenious crime wave here, is that they're posing as a security place. And a place calls and says that they need security. And they send over... You'd think that they would get caught doing this. But they send over the Foot Clan as security, and then they rob the place.
Well, I guess unless they're robbing them immediately, they could just be like,
not scoping it out, but they're like, what is the term?
There's a term for it, because it is like scoping it out, but it's like in a bad way.
Casing
a place.
Casing the place.
We came to it right at the same time.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna think of it. So it could be that they're casing it that way.
That's
and
what
then they're
I'm thinking. And then later on, they'll come back and they know where all of their equipment is. They know how to shut it off, and then they rob it. It's a horrible scheme. Don't do this. But for a cartoon,
unless you have your own clan of robotic henchmen, then maybe you can.
Okay, fine.
So it turns out to be the Foot Clan, like we said. And before April can get a camera crew down there, because she realizes what it is, so she knows that she has her story, they kidnap her.
Yes.
We have a message for you. Shut it! I love it. Leo is concerned. He's like, where is April? And the ninjas throw something at them. I like this little bit where they throw something at them, and they're like, oh, is it a threatening note? And they're like, it's worse. The check. Where did the turtles get money, Rachel?
In the sewer.
Oh, you think people have dropped money?
I think that's why they have all of the stuff they have, is like they just go through like dumpsters and they go through garbage and all of that kind of stuff. So my assumption is any of the money they have is just disregarded?
Yeah.
Disregarded money, cash that they just find between the seats and everything.
If they were from today's day and age, they would be freelancers for sure. They would be all over. They'd be all over Fiverr. They'd be all over YouTube.
Each one of them would have their own thing. Don does programming. We have Leo probably teaches something.
Yep.
Raph does fight moves, and Mikey does cooking.
Mikey
does channel.
I was gonna say it's a prank channel,
or that too.
Both.
I like I now have a headcanon that Michelangelo is a chef. So
they all definitely have a Twitch channel though, where they all play. Like you never see their faces.
Exactly.
And they're just playing. It's just a let's play like Twitch. Mm-hmm. They're all playing Mario Kart every Friday night.
Oh yeah, they could definitely just have those too. Easy.
They find April's wallet. They walk outside. They see her wallet. They see her press pass. And then they see that her purse is on the roof of an abandoned building. Now, logically, this would tell you that this is a trap. And they call it out as such once they get to the top of the building. Like, Leo's like, be careful, this could be a trap. And then, like, a shuriken, like, flies at them or something. And they're like, yeah, it's a trap. So there's a ton of foot.
Definitely a trap.
There's a ton of foot soldiers. And they take their weapons out to fight. And we get a fight scene. And at some point, Raph, like, hits them with a sigh, and there's a clang, and he goes, clang? Did I hear a clang? And it turns out that they're robots. Mm-hmm. So they are like, okay, gloves off, and they just hack the shit out of these robots. This,
because
of course,
they have the idea that they won't murder, just detain.
They're ninjas. Yeah, they've been taught right. I don't like the fact that they're robots. I never like when...
No,
I never, ever like when something is given those low stakes by being a robot or being, like, a mindless being that you can just hack up, which is always done so that the heroes don't have to feel bad for killing.
Right.
But you've seen in the movies that the turtles can take these guys out without killing them because they're just more skilled. So I would have liked if they weren't robots. I understand why they are, because parents were not going to want us have the heroes beating up people, so you need to make them into robots. But it takes it out a little bit to me.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Saki sees the fighting style here. This is where we mentioned that he sees that it's the foot because he recognizes the fighting style. And he thinks that means that Hamano Yoshi is alive. So he's putting it all together, I guess, here. They somehow knock a wall down on them.
Yeah, that was
like
weird.
Got behind a wall.
I don't really
like,
understand that.
How
There's just a random wall on the top of this roof, and they pushed it down.
That was
Yep.
that was very cartoony because I was like, wait, what? What just happened? How did this happen?
Random.
April is tied up, and I felt like this was one of those moments where people would say like, okay, this was clearly drawn by a bunch of guys because she looks pretty chesty in this scene, Rachel. Doesn't she look a little chesty?
Oh, I guess as they're taking the ropes off. I was like,
yeah,
what do you mean? Because the ropes were over her chest, so it's like you don't see it until
they take the ropes off, but she and then
she
does a
juts
heave.
out the chest. Yeah.
She does a heave with her chest. Like, hold on, my boobs will like break me free.
Well, they could be helpful, when you go, and then you just push them. They're muscles.
Folks at home, tie yourself up and let me know if you can get yourself out by just busting through.
With only your boobs, all right?
It's a shelf life challenge, a Saturday morning shelf life challenge.
Get those pecs engaged. Let's go.
God. Yep, this is what I'm doing with my life. So they chase the foot to another building via zip line.
Zip line.
Zipline. I didn't realize that they did it this way because when we watched it, Rachel, like watching it back, I was like, how did this happen? How did they end up hanging? But it's because they left the hook on the one building and ziplined to another. So like when they're hanging, it's because they're hanging from the other building. The Shredder sees that they're in the same building above them, and Donatello recognizes some of the technology, and he's talking about how it's like, oh, it's a fully functional automaton, like Alpha 5 or whatever. And so he recognizes the tech, and Shredder's like, all foot, get back to the Technodrome. They can see him on monitors, and it's like, why can they see him on monitors?
Yeah,
that
what is
make any
that?
sense.
Why does he have his camera on? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Were you conversing with somebody? I don't understand. And you forgot your camera was on?
Shredder's not the smartest bulb in the socket there. Not the brightest
Like how you're
bulb.
like, where would your bulb be?
I mixed my metaphor there, and I was like, okay, now I sound like an idiot, so I have to just abandon this. April's like, the Technodrome must be downstairs. Sure. Why does she think that? They come to conclusions on this. They're just like,
well, they
all
were
right,
on like
whatever.
the top floor, so my guess is it would be lower down too.
Sure.
I guess. I have no idea. It's very weird.
The Turtles tell April to wait. They tell her to wait a lot in these first couple episodes. I was like, guys,
because they don't want her to be, one, in the way, and two, get hurt.
I understand.
She's not a ninja.
I understand. I think you can make a feminist critique of the Turtles.
Well, no, I'm still gonna say they're the ninjas. She's a reporter. That's my answer to that.
You know what? Fair enough. So, Shredder floods the building, or the foot start to flood the building, so now the building is filling up with water, and they're like, oh no, we're gonna drown.
Comically.
And then
Comically filling with water.
Yes, comically. You're right. Yes, it is. It's like filling a cup. Like, that's how much the water is. That's how it's filling up.
There is no way it can get out of that building.
And Donatello says, wait, we're not going to drown. We're turtles. And Raphael says, well, we won't, but she will. So they run up the stairs with April, and we get, this is a very important moment in the history of pop culture, Rachel. We get our first Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
As they float on the furniture, Michelangelo is surfing on a table and goes, Cowabunga!
That's the way it should be.
I feel like that might have been improvised. I want to know. I want to find
so?
out. I want to know the story if that was improvised or not. Because it felt like something that he just came up with.
It was first, though, popularized on an American children's show, Howdy Doody, and then became associated with American surfing culture.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that the turtles...
Oh, no, I know. I'm just
Cowabunga.
looking to see
just saying-
Cowabunga. I liked the etymology of it. I'm just curious about it.
Yeah.
Cookie
I'm just
Monster
saying that
says it on Sesame Street, apparently. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yep.
Oh, okay, so Cookie Monster said it first.
Apparently.
Hashtag Cookie Monster said it first, folks.
It was his catchphrase. That's what it says.
I don't know if that's right. I want sourcing on that one. I would love to know how they came up with Cowabunga or not, but either way.
Well, my assumption is if they had him surfing
Yes.
And it's a surfing terminology that
it might have
was,
said
adopted.
like say surfing something. Yeah.
Say something. Yeah. And so
if
then
it
they
didn't
went
say
with
cowabunga,
cowabunga.
it said like surfing exclamation or something like that.
Like hang 10 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even
But
though they only have
cowabunga,
4 toes. It's like
that has become the hang 4.
Isn't that what it is? Like
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But that is an important thing. That is, even though it apparently should be a Cookie Monster thing. It is the Turtles, cowabunga.
Oh, I forgot that's what the turtles looked like in that. Oh.
What are you looking at? Hang on, folks. Rachel in her
I'm
efforts.
horrified.
She is horrified. I'm horrified.
That abomination. Do you see it?
Oh yeah. Because they don't have the
like.
beak. I don't care if it's not anatomically right. They need the beak. The beak makes them look human. Yeah, it doesn't look right.
I can't look away. I'm horrified.
Someone actually went through and they altered the Michael Bay style and they put the beak on it and it looks a lot better.
I mean, that's all they had to do. But oof, it's so upsetting.
They get to the roof and they go on their zipline thing and I don't know, I guess it's hanging from the other building and they're fine. So they go back home and Splinter recognizes the suit as that of the Foot and they vow to stop them and to find Oroku Saki.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what they say, but April says, "Do you take anything seriously?" And they say, "Of course we do." And they hold up pizza, and April concedes and says, "All right, give me a slice." And that's the end of the episode. So that is the introduction. Turtle Tracks. Rachel, what did you think of Turtle Tracks?
I mean, I thought it was cute because it's just like it's a fun cartoon. You can tell it was for kids. There was a couple questionable art styles of its time. Still questionable. No matter what, it's questionable because it's just a little like, come on. I still like the other story for Splinter, but I was fine. I can either keep that, that's fine. It's not a big deal that's what it is in the cartoon.
Right.
For me.
You have your official headcanon of what the Turtles lore is, but for you this interpretation is also fine.
This is fine. And I kind of like how silly it is between like the Turtles and April. It's kind of fun. I'm not a huge fan though of the Shredder and his weird supercomputer, but it's fine. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Or that they're robots. That's also kind of like a eh.
Yeah. I can't add much onto that other than I like Hamato Yoshi's backstory in this a little more than him being the rat, but yeah, I agree with mostly everything that you said there. I thought it was surprisingly concise. It's accurate to the turtle story for the most part, even though they do change the origins. For me, this is about as close as you can get as a combination between this and the movie as to the origins. Yes. And I thought it was actually a good introduction to the Turtles. It gives you everything that you kind of need to know about them. It gives you April, it gives you Splinter, it gives you Shredder. I agree about Shredder with the supercomputer. I'd rather him just be a crime boss ninja,
right?
Than
somebody telling him what's going on and him just going, "What is this craziness?" Yeah.
Then what we end up getting into with the Technodrome and stuff. That's the kids' cartoon aspect.
And it might age itself a little bit of its time, like April having to use a payphone and them with the boombox and all of that kind of stuff. But it's not too much that it completely takes you out of it.
And it's okay, because every generation has their own Turtles. This is the 80s, 90s version of it. So
right.
I was pleasantly surprised by this episode. I really was. When we come back, after a quick word from our fake sponsor, we will get into the second episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Enter the Shredder.